It seems like it's been 40 weeks since you got 40 winks. Your back pain? Unbearable. Tossing, turning, trying to find that pain-free position. And that's the moment you realize you can't spend another waking moment putting off treatment.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for spine care, with a ton of surgical and non-surgical treatments for back pain. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This Podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This Podcast, episode 672, Fitness Expectations versus Reality with Josh Garrett.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This Podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This Podcast. I'm Amanda Valentine. My guest today is Josh Garrett. Hello, Josh.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
So let's run through your resume. A personal trainer, owner of Cincy 360 Fitness. What else if you had a LinkedIn page, which I'm sure you don't, what other things would you put on your resume as other things that jobs you've accomplished?
Ooh. This is really it.
Just fitness? You've worked at other places.
Much. I mean, I worked at a tool rental company, kind of like manages a warehouse.
So I guess manager, it's kind of what you're doing now.
Yeah. I worked at a fast food when I was first, still in high school. Remodeled some houses during college, built fence.
I guess you're multiple business owner because you do have another business.
Yeah. Like doing construction.
Yeah. Would you like to pimp out your other business for people in Cincinnati?
Yeah. Sure. So my brother and I started a handyman company. So basically we just do any kind of odd jobs that kind of the big construction companies don't want to come off of the jobs to deal with, so that's been fun because as you know, with fitness, there's no real end to fitness. So having something that there's a start, there's a creation period, there's an execution period, and then there's a finish period.
Yeah.
Is very nice.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty cool. And then obviously just working with my brother and seeing the skill set that he has and what he's able to create and build is pretty cool.
So what would you say is the balance between you two? What are you bringing to the table versus what he's bringing to the table?
He knows how to get things to a functioning state. It's like, hey man, I think we can do this. And he's like, oh yeah, we can do that. And then he lets his brain go and gets it going. And then once I kind of see where it's going, it's like, oh, that's really cool. What if we did this or we add this to it, or, kind of fill in the details part of it. I would say that's the C and J part of it. So, yeah, it's been really cool, but just like with anything, it's growing and learning and logistics and trying to navigate all that. And
while you're also running a gym.
Yeah. Juggling those two things so it's been fun.
Busy.
Yeah, busy.
So we're going to discuss the topic of expectations of, I think specifically we're going to talk a fitness journey. I'm not going to talk about a weight loss journey. Let's just talk specifically fitness, and then the expectations of actually executing that. But before we get to that, I do want to play my sweet and spicy game that I got off Amazon, which I'm not fully sold. I like my book better. I don't feel like we get a lot of great questions, but this might be the day.
It could be.
You've already been kind of.
You're
waiting for the sweet one. So there's why? What is it?
It's. Do you believe in psychics?
Oh, why don't you want to do that question?
I don't know. This is kind of a. Do you believe in psychics?
I'd say yes and no. I believe in that there could be psychic abilities, and I've had psychics tell some really weird stuff to me before where I'm like, whoa,
yeah,
how did you know that?
Right.
So I believe in the ability. Do I believe that most people that claim to be psychics to actually have that ability? Probably not.
Valid.
So yeah, I don't want to say that I don't believe in that ability.
Yeah.
I think that that's absolutely can be true. Or just, where more people have a different.
They like feel more things. You know,
Yeah.
Their senses are heightened at that stage of the game. And agreed.
So, I think that, I don't know if that's a real answer or not. So yes and no.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. So the questions are sweet, medium, or spicy. That was a sweet question.
So we going one for each category?
I don't know. You do whatever you want, man.
Medium.
I've been also choosing other cards if they suck.
Have we? I don't know if we did this one. Are you afraid of dying?
I think we did talk about it.
I know, right?
Yeah,
I can't
it seems familiar.
Us talking, or if that was podcast talk.
Yeah, I think we might have talked about that with not recording.
Right. So, are you afraid of dying?
I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of like how I die. Like I don't want to die by fire, or like I don't want to like die by drowning. I just don't want to or die by like torture. So I think that I'm afraid of that part. I don't want to die in some totally jacked way. That would be really painful. But I guess just actually dying, like I'm not afraid of because it's inevitable.
Right.
Like it's going to happen. I'm not going to change that.
Yeah.
There is no
Can't
change in
stop
it. But I just, I guess I'm afraid of how.
Yeah. I got nothing else to add to that because it's valid, right? Like, I think that the act of how it's going to happen is definitely way more scary than just dying itself. Because once you're dead, and it is what it is.
Well, as far as we know.
Well, I mean, yeah, this area is no longer existence.
Yeah.
So where will you go after that? Who knows? But yeah, it's like, I don't want to get like an excruciating death. Like,
yeah, right? Can I just like die peacefully in my sleep?
Yeah. Then it's like, cool. I'll take that.
Yeah, right? Oh, you're going to go another one. Going spicy. Meow.
Spicy.
Well, you're really thinking about this one.
Ooh, this is weird.
Oh, but you're going for it anyway, or you're not?
If you could go back and pick your biological sex.
Oh, Shannon just asked me this one.
Did she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's kind of strange. Would you choose the same one or have that you have now?
Well, I'm curious on your answer of that.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't want to be a woman?
No. You guys gotta. I mean, there's benefits to both, but you.
Why don't you want to be a woman?
I would just say that, I don't know, I could get in. I don't know. This is like a dicey question, right?
Oh my God. I can edit this if you need me to.
Well, I just think that you guys just have such a harder time than we do. Talking from a fitness perspective, just fitness, because that's
okay.
That's
we're not talking about
wheelhouse.
life.
That's what I know.
Okay.
But just, I mean, your guys' hormones are all out of whack all the time, and you just get judged so much by society, and you got this like expectation of like what you should be way more than men do, and it's just really weird in the fitness realm. I'm sure there's way other conversations that we could get into that we're not going to.
That was a safe answer, Josh.
That was
a
PC
good answer. All right. I guess, for people listening to this, are like, are they going to ever get to the topic? Yeah, we'll get there eventually. Yeah, this is my podcast. I do what I want. Oh, I already know the answer to this one. I already know. I'm going to already read it to you, and I already know the answer. Right. You find yourself with an extra hour of free time. Do you 1, nap, or 2, exercise?
Well, I think you know the answer to that
one. Okay, well, that one was lame. Let's go medium. Oh, I don't like that one. That's stupid. See, some of these are like, what? No.
They're just very quick answered questions.
Yeah.
It doesn't open up conversation.
Yeah. Ew. Yeah, I don't. We're going spicy. These are dumb. Oh, okay. Which is more likely to create a lasting love? 1, passion, or 2, friendship?
Oh, man. What do you mean by passion?
I didn't write the question.
Well, you got to give me a definition.
I guess passion is just like, I don't know. I'm guessing, I'm just pulling this out of nowhere. I guess passion would just kind of be that like can't keep your hands off of each
Right.
other sort of thing, of just kind of like,
Yeah, that's a hard one because it's like, I mean, friendship wise, you want somebody that's your best friend. You know, you have the conversations and they never end, and you know, you have that love. But then there's also the physical element of it. And I mean, I'm a guy, like,
Yeah.
so like, I would go more towards the passion side of things.
okay.
But there's got to be a level of friendship. Like you can't. I don't think it's like one.
Well, yeah,
or
when you're
the
talking about
other
love,
kind of
we're
thing.
not just talking about a
right?
hookup.
Like it's got to be like a blending of the two. But I don't know. I think that answer probably changes as you get older in life. I would imagine that, you know, it definitely, I would say, goes more to the friendship side
Yeah.
of things, where there's still a level of passion, but it's changed and different. Maybe, I don't know.
Right. We got to end on a spicier note than that.
A spicier note. Dum-dum-dum-dum.
Oh, thinking about your first time, do you, 1, remember it fondly, or 2, regret it?
I remember it. I mean,
No, do you remember it fondly, or do you regret it?
oh yeah, I don't have any regrets. No, not at all.
Does she?
Probably. I'm like, well, that was a bad idea.
Oh my God, poor girl.
Yep.
All right, so expectations.
Oh, and that's a beautiful segue. Expectations versus reality. Well, this is what I thought it was going to be, and this is what it ended up, and I really didn't like that.
She's somewhere telling that story right now.
Yep. What I thought it was going to be, and then that was not what it was.
Yeah, that would be my perspective.
What's that?
That angle
Yeah.
of like, oh,
That's
that wasn't.
everybody builds this up a lot more than what
I don't know. The dude I was with at the time, though, was such a freaking tool bag that it was like, that's, I think, what made it bad for me.
Yeah.
That he was just,
It's just ugh. Wow. Hope I didn't leave that lasting impression. Just ugh. Oh, okay. That's a good way to sum that up.
well, I stayed with him a while after that. It's not like it was just thinking about the treatment I had during that entire relationship.
Yeah, just ugh.
Yeah.
Just, ugh.
For
That's just awesome.
sure.
That's a harsh way of summing that up. Just ugh. Just can't even put an adjective. That's not even a word. It's just, ugh.
Well,
Okay.
that's the thing where I'm like, I don't regret it, or that whole entire relationship, because it taught me so many lessons of like, I am not putting up with that again.
Right?
Like, nope.
Gotta have the lows to know where the highs are.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so the expectations
Yeah,
of a fitness journey, like, I kind of want to hear what your thoughts of that are, because you've always had fitness in your life. Like, we have such different perspectives, I think, on thinking about, like, I don't know, again, like, we have just totally two different backstories
Yeah.
of, especially with fitness, of having an expectation going into it versus what you think it really is. So I guess I'll let you tell your version of that first.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I never didn't have fitness in my life. So there wasn't ever really a pre-expectation. You know what I mean? Like it just was. That was always reality. Like I was always moving. I was always into something. I don't know if fitness always gave me the escape. Like that was my time to I could just hone in. I could just move and just feel my body, and whatever athletic ability came out of that was cool. But it was mainly just like you're constantly just challenging yourself and trying to be better. And, you know, there's nobody that you can point the finger at, or, you know, that kind of thing. It was just you versus you, the cliche kind of thing. It was, you know, but I think that over the course of life, the expectations have changed, or like my 20s, I would have thought that just get as big as you can get,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whatever it takes I want to just be as big as I could be. And now I'm like, it takes a lot of work. It's a lot of maintenance. This is a lot of pain, a lot of soreness. I'm a little different now. Now I'm just longevity. I want to feel good. I want to wake up, have energy. I want to not have crazy aches and pains all the time and that kind of thing. So I would say that, I don't know, that the expectation that I had is just constantly going to change. And then the reality of it is that, in my opinion, it's like you always think that it's going to get better when you hit a certain thing.
Yeah.
And then you just keep setting a different thing. You know? So it's like I've learned over the course of my time with fitness is like you're always going to set the new mountain or the new bar that you want to try to achieve. And that's going to be in accordance with kind of where you're at in your life. And that's the more of the reality of it, in my opinion, rather than the yeah. But I mean, I would love to hear your side of it because, like you said, we got two different approaches to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know, I mean, and I've talked about this before, or I just have a very, I don't want to say complicated, but I guess treacherous, if is the right word. Just like, I don't know, like there's a lot of just mixed feelings, and there's been a lot of hurt around fitness for me. And I know I've talked to you about this before, and I know I've talked about this on this podcast before, but like, growing up, because I was always overweight, like I was never any sort of like fit or moving kid. And in PE, like I couldn't, like the Presidential Fitness Challenge, like I couldn't do any of that.
Right.
And like you just feel like a loser. And to go into the locker room where girls made fun of me for being fat and made me feel like crap every time we had to change clothes for PE, and then I would change in the like a bathroom stall, and they would make fun of me for that. But I would rather take that being made fun of than pointing at my body and making fun of it.
Right.
And feeling self-conscious. So even though that didn't happen with fitness, it's attached to fitness for me, of like judgment. I don't belong here. Just pain, like hurt feelings around it. Like it's never was like, oh, I can't wait to go do this in PE because it just was get made fun of.
Right.
It sucks. So except for like roller skating, I like when we roller skated in PE. That was fun.
You guys roller skated in PE?
At the very end of the year. Well, this is my small hometown,
Yeah.
At the end of the year, because they were going to have to refinish the gym floors. They do it every summer. They would set boxes up with roller skates in the middle of the gym, and everybody get your roller skate, and you just roller skate in a circle around the gym for an hour. But I really suck at roller skating, and the only way I could stop myself was just slam into the bleachers. So I sucked at that too. And we also had to do line dancing in PE for a while too.
Huh.
Yeah. You went
to
to a small town. Yeah, no. So that's where that came from. And then I played volleyball for like a couple months where my mom was like, you should do this because your cousin did this and she lost weight. So it wasn't like I wanted to do it. And it was basically being pushed into it of like, you're too fat. Go do this thing and be less fat. So I didn't enjoy that at all either. Like I didn't even, and plus it just made me feel stupid because I didn't understand what was going on. I had no desire to learn it because I was shoved into it. So that's why I've never played any like group sports or anything. And even the couple of group things I did, I was in 2 softball leagues at the same time one summer. One was a radio station, one was an improv one. And I hated that too because it was like the improv one was fun because none of us knew what we were doing. We mostly just did it to drink.
Right.
But the radio station, when they took it so seriously and wanted us to like run laps and stuff, I'm like, what? And then I got made fun of because I wore jeans, and I'm like, I don't know how to fitness. So like, I don't know. I'm like, it's just like there was that, and then having, so I did no fitness. And then I would get gym memberships. I did that when I lived in Rochester through the radio station, and I wouldn't show up, and I just felt out of place, and I didn't know what to do, and would just get on the elliptical for 20 minutes to say I showed up and leave. So it's like my expectation, I guess, of fitness was just I just felt like so much of an outsider. It felt like the expectation was like you had to look a certain way to just be in the gym or to be a part of those certain things. And I don't look that way. So I don't do this. And 2, I also physically did not enjoy it. But I think all the rest of that kind of played a role. I never had the opportunity to enjoy it like I do now. And so, yeah, I guess the expectation was just like that's something for really super fit people. It seems really painful. And confusion around it. And so, I mean, really, I didn't really start. I mean, it's funny too, because just even with running, because I did so much running and hiking and walking, even though that is fitness, it didn't still feel like fitness. You know what I mean? Fitness, you think of like the expectation again, like you're lifting weights, you're in a gym, you're playing a sport. So even though I was doing those things and losing 100 pounds doing those things, and like I knew that I was being physically fit, but it didn't feel like I was still a part of fitness.
Right, the fitness community.
Yeah. And so then like the first real gym that I ever participated in and enjoyed was Fit Next here in Cincinnati. And that's kind of Tabata style. I liked it because there was a personal trainer, but it wasn't one-on-one, but you had your own little station. So it wasn't like circuit classes or anything, or group fitness, which gives me a ton of anxiety. I could still be in my own little world while there's a whole class full of people and still have somebody there where I'm like, am I doing this right? You know what I mean?
A small group training.
Yeah. I mean, at the time, I guess like a max class would probably have like maybe like 8-10 people in there.
Yeah.
And from there, I guess and the reason why I went there was when I first moved to Cincinnati, I walked so much, I walked past all the time, and I saw people in there. I'm like, man, those people look like hardcore. That looks badass. Like they're flipping tractor tires and stuff. And I'm like, I bet I could try doing that. And I was really intimidated and really scared to go in there. I was super scared to go in there. And I did, and I signed up, and I'm like, I could walk here. I don't have an excuse not to go here, but I'd already lost 100 pounds. You know what I mean? Like I was already in that mindset. So I guess my expectations even going into that weren't like, oh, I'm going to get jacked or whatever. I was just kind of like, this seems like a new fun way to do this. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I guess I didn't feel like I didn't belong there. I felt like,
felt comfortable.
Yeah. Like this feels cool. The first several times I went there I felt like I wanted to puke because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, and felt really out of place. But shout out to Tess, who is the trainer that worked at Fit Next, who's been on this podcast like, oh my God, 3 years ago at this point, that I did my orientation with and did my first one with. And like, he just like kind of understood where I was coming from and was very like gentle and nice with me.
Yeah.
And not what I guess I thought was like, oh, all these jacked bodies and hardcore like trainers, like the scary of like, oh, I don't fit in here. So then I guess the reality is after doing that and then lifting at the Y, coming here to the gym and just kind of where I've been the past several years is everybody belongs. Mm-hmm. And I really hate that a lot of people are such douchebags.
Yes.
That they can push people out from bettering themselves. Right. Like you even think of an overweight person running down the street and people yelling stuff out their cars. Yeah. I'm like, they're doing something.
Right.
They're why would you shame them? Because you're not doing it.
Exactly. And that's why they're shaming.
Yeah.
Because it's like everybody's trying to beat their own demons down, and they try to do that by beating others around. And it's just like, that's dumb.
So I think the reality is not only that of like everybody belongs and you just got to find your place where you belong and try. Like if you go to a place, just like Caitlin, who works here when we recorded our podcast, she went to another gym where they said some mean things to her, and that could have ended her.
Right.
You know, she was like, I don't want to go to a gym anymore, but she tried other places. You know what I mean? So it's like, finding the right spot, because there are right spots, and So I believe that is the reality of it that I wouldn't have said almost my entire life. So that is a realization for that for me. And then just like personally of realizing just like what that kind of fitness, specifically talking about like strength training, does for your body and does for your mental health. Of the reality of it just feeling strong is so much different than I want to be skinny or I want to be not as big. You know what I mean? I think that, I don't know, that for me anyway, the reality of that was really powerful of like, I don't know. I really like, and I've done like when I've gone on vacations, I purposely find like the Arnold Broy gym. And I just like that atmosphere now, which is wild to me because I'm like, I want to come in here and I want to lift heavy. And I feel like I'm in my place. Like this gym in Minneapolis, because I've been in Minneapolis a few times, and I still wear their tank top. I bought a tank top from it because I loved it so much because it is this like kind of like gritty but like hardcore gym. And it has like an upstairs and a downstairs and a turf downstairs. And like everybody there is just like jacked.
Going in to do work.
Yeah. And I'm like, but so was I.
Yeah.
And I felt completely like in place, strong in my abilities of like, I know what I'm doing. I'm lifting. Nobody's looking at me with like, what is she doing here? But instead of like, damn, this chick's getting after it.
Yeah.
And that feeling is awesome of feeling like I'm strong in here. I could do this. I belong even in the broiest of the bro Arnold, like kind of grit gym that I have a place in there. And I know what I'm doing to a degree and I feel confident in my own workout and I walk out feeling strong in my own body and feeling strong mentally is, I don't know. That's just nothing that I would have ever predicted before.
Yeah.
It's just, that's not something that I ever associated with fitness for me specifically in my worldview of that. And I don't know, it's just one of those things that like after you experience it, you want other people to experience it. Like other people that have felt like, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I just had a client today. I can't do this. Like, yeah, you can. Go ahead. Oh, you did one. Let's do another one.
And I think
let's do another one.
That's what strength training does. It's like when you have those insurmountable goals that you're like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. And then you do it. And it's like, well, hell, if I could do that, maybe all this other stuff that I thought I couldn't do, I could do, And
exactly.
And it just like opens this door of just like so many opportunities that you were just telling yourself this story of something that you couldn't do. And then, it took time, effort, and energy and sacrifice, but then eventually you overcame it and you were able to do it. And then it's like, well, let's try this.
Yeah.
Let's see what this does.
Yeah. I mean, not in fitness, but with fitness results, like even just with my weight loss of, where, I was just so unhappy with who I was and where I was in life where I was living in Denver and I was binge drinking with my friends and binge eating alone. And I'm like, I live in this beautiful place and I don't even go outside. And I'm like, who is that? This isn't me. This doesn't feel like me. It just did not feel like me at all.
Yeah.
And to work towards that, to get to the point where I've summited mountains, you know what I mean? I've like literally summited multiple mountains, including one that I'm proud of, like in Alaska alone, like put bear bells on my pack. I might fight a bear, but I'm going to hike up to the top of this mountain in freaking Alaska and sit at the top and watch a snowstorm blow in August. You know what I mean? Like this is like, that is a moment for like fitness for me where it's like, I mean, I do like getting stronger and you hitting PRs and all that stuff, but it's like, this is what I would have imagined for myself. Like, it's just a different kind of goal of like, holy crap, this is my life now.
Yeah.
Like I do these things now and this feels like living. And I got there because I did train for it. You know what I mean? I did work on fitness and work on my body to get into the place where I could have this amazing experience. Same thing with like backpacking across a glacier in Banff. Like you can't do that if you don't have
not
some level
trained.
of fitness ability.
Yep.
And same thing too, where, we knew each other when I did this. When I did live in Denver, we went to the sand dunes, which are so cool. And I went before I lost weight, and I could not even make it halfway up. And I'm like, I mean, if you've ever been to the dunes in Colorado, you know that they're pretty intense.
I mean, walking on sand on flat ground is
Yeah.
intense.
I mean,
can
climbing a sand
imagine
mountain.
walking a mountain.
Yeah. So it's, at the time I was super into photography, and I just wanted to take a picture at the top because you got the mountains behind you and you got all these cool dunes. And I'm like, nope, giving up. Like, I just gave up so easy. I was just like, nope, turn it around. And to get to the point where I had summited mountains and I had run half marathons and did all this other stuff where I'm like, I'm going to go back. I'm going to finish it this time. And fitness brought me there, and I did it. And I got up there and I recorded a podcast in it, which, God, I should put that in the show notes, whatever episode that is. But like, I don't know. It's stuff like that. I think the reality of fitness is things that you don't think of. Like when you're thinking of like, oh, I got to go to the gym today. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, I just want to sit at home. I'm really comfy. To think of like fitness in a way of like giving you this amazing life.
Yeah.
Like you can do these things that you never thought you could imagine, and not just like look hot in a pair of jeans or like beat somebody in arm wrestling or whatever.
Yeah.
But
it's
it's
a
like,
byproduct.
yeah, but it's like, I got myself a new lease on life.
Yeah.
And I can go on vacation and I can try surfing and feel like I can do it because I have some sort of fitness level to it. Like there's so many things that I just really feel like, I've always done like a lot of kind of crazy things in my life, but I mean, it really got turned to 11 after I started feeling better about my body and getting to a place where I could physically do these things or trust myself that I could physically do things.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that doesn't get talked about enough in fitness is, I had a client just the other day, it was the first time he touched his toes and however long he could remember. And it's like, that is fitness,
Yeah.
It's all, there's different levels to it, like you were saying, but that is something that you should be able to do as a human. And if you're not, then let's get to that level of fitness, and then we can start building upon that and, move the needle that way. But it's just, it's like we deem fitness as like this certain thing, and we don't think about all the other things that go along with it. It's just crazy.
Yeah. It's just, there's just, and like, it's also not even thinking about getting stronger and stuff like that. But again, also just thinking about your body of like when you're in a rhythm and you are exercising, whatever you're doing, whether you're doing bar or cardio or lifting or whatever it is, or pole dance fitness or whatever, that when you're in a rhythm and you're consistently doing it and then you stop doing it for like, let's just say a week, you go on vacation, 2 weeks, and then you come back and try to do it again and your body's like,
Mm-hmm.
And just like the reality of, I guess like that, where it's like you could bitch about it and be like, oh, you lose it so fast, which is true. Or you could just think about like, man, how good do I feel when I do this for myself? Like, it's just that perspective of it is like, my body treats me really well when I do this. And when I stop, then my body aches and pains and it's hard and like, ugh,
And then that's such the catch-22, because then you have the aches and pains and the, I don't feel like doing this. And so then you don't do it, and then you feel like it more. And then that's just the hamster wheel that just keeps on going. And then when you start doing it, you're like, damn, I should have done this a lot longer. I should have done this a lot sooner. But
that's the same thing with nutrition too. Falling off the wagon with all of that. You know how good you feel when you're quote unquote being good, to whenever you fall off a wagon and then you just can't make yourself jump on again. And I think that's where people get really hung up on, at least I hear a lot about me. People tell me all the time, like, I wish I had your motivation. I'm like, I'm not motivated all the time at all. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm like, got to push yourself sometimes. It's like a determination and consistency. Like those are the drivers, because I don't always feel motivated to work out, even though I know how good feels when I do it. I'm not always motivated to meal prep and do all of that, but I know all of the good side effects from it. So it's like, grind it out, because it'll make tomorrow better.
Right.
Or it'll make the rest of the day better. And it's those sorts of things of like, when it's so hard to hop back on the wagon, you have to go to that place. You have to put your brain there, write yourself notes or whatever you got to do to be like, but I know how I feel when I do this, and I know how I feel when I don't, and it's a choice. And by me choosing not this, and I'm making the choice to feel mentally and physically bad. And I don't know, and even though I've made that choice a million times, it's still, if you say it out loud, you're just kind of like, why would you make that choice?
Yeah. I think everybody's made that choice. You know?
Oh my God.
Like, if you're, in the fitness industry, somehow you get deemed as like, you don't have the struggles as everyone else does. And it's like, no, you still, I fall off the wagon all the time. And, for me, it's like just taking little chunks. It's like, all right, let's get this 10-minute workout in. Because, you get going for 10 minutes and you're like, all right, well, I can keep going. And it feels good. And then you just keep, but it's like, you can do anything for 10 minutes. But if you think about it like, oh, I got to get this hour workout in. Then it's like, oh, I don't have an hour of my time, but 10 minutes, I can do 10 minutes. And then that 10 minutes turns into 30 and 45. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I feel better now that I've done that. Good job.
Yeah. Or even just be like, just show up.
Yeah.
Once you show up, you're like, well, I'm not going to just show up here and leave. I got to do something while I'm here.
Right.
So, and then we even talked about, too, when we recorded a podcast with Dr. Kyle Timmerman from Miami University.
Yeah.
Because his research.
That's my buddy.
I know. We got to talk to him again.
I know.
But like his research is just on how, like, what the amount of exercise that it takes to, for heart health and to be healthy. And it's like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's like
90 minutes over the week.
Yeah, it was like nothing. Where it's like 10 minutes a day of just like nothing even intense, like go for a walk.
Right.
Like that's all it takes is just this little bit, and then how scary it is of how much of us aren't even doing that little of a bit. You know what I mean? When that's all it takes is like 90 minutes a week, and it could just be walking. And how much time do we spend scrolling?
That's what I was just going to allude to. It's like you get on your phone and you look at social media and you set your phone down and you go walk up the steps 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Instead of scrolling through your phone, and then that takes you 4 or 5 minutes, and there you go.
Yeah.
You got 5 minutes of it done.
Well, that's where I was just having this conversation today about like foam rolling and stretching, because that's not really most people's jam. You're the exception. But of like, I know I should do this at home. I know I feel better when I do it. Why can't I have no motivation to do it? And I'm like, well, a trick for that is, or talking about like going up and down the stairs, is like attaching it to an old habit of knowing that, in this case, I was talking about foam rolling. I'm like, when do you have free time? Like, when is the best time? It's mornings. I'm like, okay, well, for me, like, I really love my morning cup of coffee. That's my routine every morning. I wake up early, if I don't naturally wake up at some ungodly hour, to be able to like sit in quiet and drink coffee every morning. And so it's like, but I know that I want to foam roll. So I'm like, okay, before I get that cup of coffee, I'm going to foam roll for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's all it's going to take. And on the other side of that is coffee.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So then it's like attaches them together. So then once the first couple of weeks, it's like, this sucks, I don't want to do this. And it just becomes part of the routine again. And then if you miss a morning, you're like, oh, I can't do that 2 days in a row. I know where this is going.
Right.
And you do it again. So like for me, the attachment I have to coffee every morning is like, I have to drink a full glass of water before I drink coffee. Like, I know that's better for me to just wake up and drink water than coffee. And I really just want to start taking coffee to the face. And I'm like, no, glass of water first. Then you get the coffee.
Right.
And I do that every morning. So I think that's so sort of the things too of like moving, going up and down the stairs. Like, hey, every night I let the dog out So why don't I just walk around the block instead? Just give me one block.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to go far, or just like take those habits and attach them.
And I think that's a huge point, is like we always think of, this one grandiose thing that we're going to do, and it's going to be this huge euphoric thing. And it's like, no. I don't care about the one thing that you did. I want to know what you're doing on the daily.
Yeah.
Because that is what shapes who you are.
Yeah.
Right. So like changing your daily habits is going to lead to way bigger results than just doing one grandiose thing.
Yeah.
One time.
Which is like why I love meal prepping so much. Well, I love it for multiple reasons. It's just, just had so many issues with portion control over years, in which I still do if you just like let me completely run, I guess. It's way different now than it used to be. But also just because that's the daily habit. Like, it's like I know the results from that. I love the results from that.
Yeah.
And that's where, and I don't really mind eating the same thing every day. And I know that I'm a rare case in that. Yeah. But it's like, I find the results of that are way better than any desire I have to eat something different every day. The results I get from the consistency of my meal prep lead me to what makes me happy and makes me feel really good. So that works for me, because if I had to just cook something and be on my own every day, I get anxiety, I get stressed out about it, and then I'll make bad decisions.
Right.
And so that's where it's like, again, like, what's your choice? My choice is, yeah, sure, I'll eat the same pasta every single day, nearly the same time. And I do my stuff 2 weeks in a row now. Like 2 weeks in a row, I'll eat the same thing. And towards the end, I'm like, yeah, I need to switch this up. But it's, and I never force myself to eat anything I don't. But it's also like getting the results I want, though.
Right.
That tastes better.
Is it, yeah, right? Is that worth it?
Yeah. And I think that's everything. I think that's all. I mean, especially, God, we're getting way into the food stuff here, but, or even fitness. I guess there's just enough distractions and everything pulling you away from it. Like, it's hard because it is hard. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a million, like, you could be on your phone, you watch TV, like sitting on the couch. Like, there's things that are more comfortable to do than go hit the gym if that's not like your deep, passionate love.
Right.
But it's like, but how much do you love the feeling from going there? And it's a choice.
Yes.
So, and that's the reality of it.
Ba-dum-dum-dum.
Yeah. Boom. Switch.
Mic drop.
Okay, but let's end on some more questions, though, on the sweet and spicy thing.
Oh, sweet and spicy. We're going back.
We're going back. We're going to bookend it, Josh.
To the game.
Because did we cover everything that you felt we should cover in that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I think that conversation can go on forever.
Oh my God, yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I don't think that there's anything else that I can add that's gonna enlighten anyone. I think that to tie up what you were saying about just defining what fitness is for you, I think is huge for people. I think everybody wants somebody else to tell them what they should be. And it's like, no. You got to define what it is that you want, and then find the things that bring you happiness, that you have fun doing, and that you're going to stick to doing, and that you're going to create those habits. And, if meal prepping isn't your thing, then you got to find some other thing. If lifting weights or foam rolling isn't your thing, then you got to find another thing.
Yeah.
That's what my thing is, and that's what your thing is. And I don't know. I feel like we get so attached to what others do that we don't just look in the mirror and take some self-reflection and say, like, well, what is it that I want? And then start to develop the habits around that. And I think if more people did that, then we'd be happier. So.
Well, and like to add to that of, experimenting and trying other things. Like kind of we brought up before, like you have a bad experience at a gym, you can't be like, well, all gyms are like this, I'm never going again. Like if you go and get your ass beat in a boot camp class and you hate it, that's not the definition of fit. It doesn't have to be your definition. You don't have to go again. But if you go to a boot camp class and you freaking love it, well, then it's easy. You found your jam.
That's your thing.
And that's why you just like keep trying stuff until, I've tried a bunch of different things and I can tell you what I liked and what I don't like, but it's because I tried it.
But on a side note, don't just do the things that you like to do. You gotta throw in the things that are a little bit
A
uncomfortable.
little yoga after
Because
getting
if
your
you
ass
don't,
beat.
then you're not cross training, and if you don't cross train, then you're going to develop bad movement patterns, and if you develop bad movement patterns, then you're going to have problems. So,
Okay.
just a tangent.
That's this trainer Josh.
Anyways, so this is a good one. Would you be willing to write a tell-all book about your sex life if you knew it would be a bestseller?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess, yeah, you didn't write the question, but like, so about my like actual sex life
No,
or
about your
about,
fake sex life.
no, or like where it could be.
What? All right. So, do you want the real story or what I think it could morph into? Do you want that, or do you want? I think they were talking your actual sex life. Would you write about your sex life if you knew it would be a bestseller?
That's a good question. I mean, yeah, I think I got some interesting stuff in there.
I'm going opposite on that one.
No?
No. I mean, I think that I have interesting things, but I don't want everybody
know?
It's
Yeah.
a bestseller.
I
Like
mean, okay, that's
a
true.
lot of people reading it.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was thinking about whether it'd be interesting or not. I'm like, yeah, I got some fun stories. Like, okay, like I could see where I could make this good, and that's where I'm like, oh man, I make it even spicier about like, hey, this is how I'm gonna next level this.
I'm thinking about
Your mom's gonna read
it. There's a lot
it.
of people that are Amanda's like, how do I bring more value to this? How do I add to the bestseller? Like, I want to go platinum with this book. Like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so that's my answer to that.
All right. One more of these bad boys. What do we got?
Oh, yeah, this is all these sex questions. Is foreplay 1 overrated or 2 underrated?
These are a lot of sex questions.
Yeah, well, they're spicy.
They are spicy questions. I would say underrated. Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. I don't want to go into explanations on that one.
Why not?
That's just weird.
You don't want this to be a best-selling podcast?
Yeah. We're just going to end it on that note.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
AmandaValentineBites.com